Trust is the glue that holds teams and organizations together. It's the belief that a leader is credible, reliable, and has the best interests of their team and organization at heart. When people trust their leader, they are more willing to follow and collaborate and to go the extra mile. Welcome everyone to the Change Starts Here podcast. I'm your host, Dustin Odham, and I am so excited for the next 4 months of our solo episodes. As we talked about at the beginning of the season, we're going to have a solo episode with me at the first episode of every month. And for the next 4 months, we're going to dive into what I consider to be the most impactful content that Franklin Covey has when it comes to leadership. And it's the 4 essential roles of leadership. We brought on an amazing woman in the last year, Betsy Weirda, who is an unbelievable coach for our education division. And she is kind of our thought leader and education leader for our practice around the 4 essential rules of leadership. And so if you're someone who's diving into this content and you want to go much deeper, she is an amazing person to reach out with. My heart for the next 4 months is just to give everyone a high level of each leadership role and give you some resources at the end of each podcast that you can dive into on your own. And so, again, the next 4 months, come here. We'll dive into each of the roles. You will also be able to go in the show notes to dive in a little bit deeper into the content. We should have some handouts there. And one of the reasons that this content is so impactful to me is I look at it as kind of a sampler platter of our best content, from the 7 habits to inspiring trust to the 4 disciplines of execution. It's just a way to get a high level guidance on how you're doing as a leader, and just to check with yourself of if you're on track or off track. So do me a favor, make sure that you tune in the first Tuesday of every month for the next 4 months and set some time aside during the week just to dive a little bit deeper into the resource and reflect on your own practice as a leader. Also, while you're there, please hit the subscribe button. However you listen to this podcast, every new subscriber, every new listener helps us propel forward to get even better guests, to do even more unique work around content that's going to help you become the better, the leader that I think you're destined to be. And so please hit the subscribe button, get more people to subscribe. We appreciate your sincere listenership. So with that, let's embark on this journey of leadership together, trying to unravel the secrets of effective leadership. The first role of leadership is the role of inspiring trust. Trust is the cornerstone which successful leadership is built. Without trust, it's nearly impossible to lead effectively. So let's unpack why inspiring trust is the first and foremost fundamental role of leadership. If you think about it, trust is the glue that holds teams and organizations together. Some people view trust as kind of a nice to have or kind of a soft skill. But in my head, if you don't have trust, you can be the most competent leader. If you don't have people around you who know you care about them and you're connecting with them in a way that you can earn their trust, they're not going to follow you. So trust is the glue that holds teams and organizations together. It's the belief that a leader is credible, reliable, and has the best interests of their team and organization at heart. When people trust their leader, they are more willing to follow and collaborate and to go the extra mile. But the question I always have is, that's great, I get it, but how do we inspire trust? And it starts with integrity. Leaders must align their actions with their values and principles consistently, not just every once in a while, not when just people are watching, but consistently. This means being honest, ethical, and transparent in all of their dealings. When you say you'll do something, follow through. When you make a promise, keep it. This consistency builds a track record of trustworthiness. Another crucial element of inspiring trust is competence. So we talk about all the time, you've heard a number of trust episodes on here, character and competence. You can be a great person, but if you're not competent in your role, you're going to lose trust. You can be highly competent in a role, but if you don't have character and you can't follow through and love and serve others, you're going to have folks who won't follow you. So leaders must be competent in their roles and have the skills and knowledge necessary to guide their team. When team members see that their leader knows what they're doing, they are more likely to trust their decisions and directions. One of my favorites, and one that I think most leaders can struggle with from time to time, is listening. Listening is a key aspect of inspiring trust because leaders who actively listen to their team members, value their input, not just listen, but value their input and take their concerns seriously, demonstrate that they care about their team's well-being. You have to show that you care. Listen. It doesn't mean you have to agree with everything, but you've got to listen. You've got to constantly seek feedback and to seek insight. And that will inspire the trust and openness that you desire within your team. Along with seeking, and listening, empathy is a vital component of inspiring trust. Leaders who understand and empathize with the challenges and needs of their team members create a positive and supportive environment. I feel like since COVID, this is probably one of the most critical leadership roles or leadership skills that we have to have, is that there's so much that's happening. And if you're a school leader, in your teachers' lives, personally and professionally, that you just can't fully understand or unpack. And so I feel like it's our job as leaders to constantly check in and find out how people are doing in terms of, how are they really doing? One of my thoughts on leadership is if people are struggling at home, whether it's in a marriage or family issues or some personal struggle that we don't know about, and we can't help them through it or recognize that it's there and we just love them through it, it's going to be hard for them to get off the mat every day. So if their personal life is struggling and work's tough, so you think about this cycle, you show up to work and work's tough that day. The kids are crazy, or there's some, my wife had to deal with a strike the other day at work. Just unexpected things happen. And then you go home and your personal life is also beating you up. At some point, that's going to lead to crazy burnout. And so I think as leaders, we've got to do a better job of empathically listening and serving those around us. Empathy helps leaders connect to their team on a deeper level, and that strengthens their trust bonds. And finally, and this is one that I can struggle with sometimes, which seems so easy, but for whatever reason, life happens. And so it becomes difficult in my head. But consistency is crucial in inspiring trust. Trust is not built overnight, but rather through a series of consistent actions and behaviors over time. Leaders must continually demonstrate trustworthiness in their actions, decisions, and interactions. So that's something that is hard to kind of deal with. I love Chris McChesney, who does our 4 disciplines of execution work. I remember, he talks about how do you eat an elephant? And he always says 1 bite at a time. The challenge with trust, if you've broken it, is even if you do a grand gesture, and lay yourself down to say, I'm bare, here's my struggles, I apologize, it's still going to take time to earn the trust back fully. And so if you're on one of those journeys, just commit to putting one step in front of the other every single day, and know that through that, you're going to earn the trust back. But don't get focused on, it's kind of like what he always talks about with losing weight. You can't just step on a scale every day and think about, you getting there. You have to think, what are the leading actions I can take to lose weight, or in this case, to earn trust? And every day, just focus on doing those things and check them off, and know that if you continue to have the discipline to stay consistent, the trust will come. So in conclusion, the first role of leadership is inspiring trust. That lays the foundation for effective leadership. Trust is the currency of leadership. And without it, leaders struggle to influence and lead effectively. Leaders struggle by embodying integrity, competence, active listening, empathy, and most importantly, consistency. Leaders can inspire trust and create a solid platform upon which to build their leadership journey. I hope this is just a good reminder, because I think so many people who are attracted to our work at Franklin Covey, and so many people who are attracted to serving others through leadership, I think really understand that trust is critical to being the most effective leader they can be. I would say, I don't think anything I just talked about should be revolutionary, but I hope it was just a good gut check to remind you of, ask yourself, am I living and being a trustworthy person and building a culture of trust with my team through my character and my competence? If you're someone who wants to go deeper in those discussions, again, Betsy Weirda, we had a podcast with her a number of months ago. We've had Stephen and Mark Covey on a couple of times in the past talking about trust. Those are awesome episodes. We're actually going to have him on again here in the next month or two. And so I'm really excited about what we have to come. I hope this episode was great for you. Again, this is the first of 4 roles. Thank you for joining us. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It's an honor to have you guys listen as you think about people in your life who could use this pick me up or just a little reminder of the importance of inspiring trust around them. Please share this episode. As always, thank you. I wish you the best on your leadership journey.